Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rodney.
And I'm G.
Yep, and we're here to share with you the stories of another leg of our summer travels.
This one is going to take place in Custer State Park, and Custer State Park is in South Dakota.
Now, she put that first. Actually, we took Iron Mountain Road to Custer State Park, or whatever.
Okay, Iron Mountain Road does take you to it goes through Custer State Park.
Yeah, it finishes kind of. We took it does go through there. That's what we had to take to get there.
And in Iron Mountain Road, there is an area that you can pull off to the side, and you will actually see Mount Rushmore all the way at the end. So
it's neat.
It's pretty cool.
You know, now there are a couple of tunnels on that road. It was funny when we first got on the Iron Mountain Road. There was a guy with an RV. And he had pulled over, and wisely, he decided to turn around and not take that road.
He wasn't going to make it.
No.
He wasn't going to make it. Some tunnels were one lane, so you had to wait for the other car to come before you can take it. And
we went in the morning. There was no real traffic.
There was no real traffic. All right. Then in Custer State Park, we took Wildlife Loop. Mm-hmm. Now, the Wildlife Loop, it's very beautiful. I don't know how many miles it is. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you that the entrance to Custer State Park is $25 per vehicle.
Yeah.
It doesn't, if you have a National Park Pass, it doesn't count. So you
the
still had
lady
to
was
pay
nice. They have some super nice restrooms right there. We went there first. And I'll tell you what, you remember as we were going into the park that the bison came in?
Oh, yeah, the bison was literally walking right by us.
He came in, and that was the best view of a bison that we had that day.
That day, because we had many bison views. But Wildlife Loop, you were supposed to see a ton of animals, and all we saw were bison and a lot of pronghorn.
It was a big herd of bison.
Yeah.
But it was far off, and I guess there's times you'll see videos of people going through there, and the bison are covering the road, and you have to wait for them to pass. Well, the whole herd was far enough off the road.
Yeah.
Really, the best part of that experience is getting out the binoculars and looking at the small babies.
The calves, yeah. But pronghorn, they were everywhere. They would just cross the street. Really nice. They have a little small tail. Really cute. And then from Wildlife Loop, we went into Needles Highway.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It
was fun cool. Because G keeps riding along like, well, this is not what they showed. This is not what the pictures. This is nothing. And then we get to the real.
Because there's two ways you can go in. There's the one that has all the needle pointy rocks, and then the other one that doesn't have anything until you get to this side. So we came in this way. So we kept running. I'm like, but this is not what the pictures show. Yeah. This is not what the pictures show. And then sure enough, we got to where all the spikes were at. And driving through there was crazy.
If it's busy, it's very difficult to find a place to park and really take in the scenery. I regret that being in a rental car also makes it a little bit more tricky for me. I'm very cautious with the rental cars. Yeah. If it were my own, it'd be different maybe. But it was very difficult to find a place to park. So we kind of just had to drive through there slowly. One lane bridges. The tunnel, that one tunnel.
You'll see the video where the person in front of us just took out their hand.
And you could just touch the side of the wall.
It is. If you're claustrophobic, it's tight. I'm recording this one. One car tunnel. Oh, this is kind of tight. We made it.
And there were some big SUVs I saw waiting in line that, I tell you, that was a tight thing. I wouldn't be surprised if some people didn't. If you had a really big Suburban or something wide, like those Hummers, you're probably going to scrape the side someplace inside that tunnel. That's how narrow it is. Especially if you're a woman driver.
You can park and climb those rocks and look at the cars from the top, but it was so packed. We couldn't find a spot to pull over.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know that I would have, being in a rental car anyway, because Some of them are not designated parking spots. You're taking a risk by parking on the side of the road.
So Needles Highway was cool. So at the end, we ended up with Sylvan Lake.
Yeah, we stopped there.
Sylvan Lake is gorgeous.
Nice place to stop. They had a really nice shop there where, some people were eating food.
They sold food as well.
And beautiful lake. A lot of people enjoying the lake, swimming,
There's
rowing.
picnic tables everywhere.
Yeah.
You can stop. Well, we actually
Really
stopped
pleasant.
and ate our lunch there because we had our own cooler.
And we walked all the way around the lake.
So I'll tell you about that experience. So the trail around the lake has a paved side, and then the other side is like through the sandy part. And all the rocks are in the middle. And while we're getting closer to the rock side, we see all these people at the top of the rocks. And we're like, what are these people doing? They're crazy.
Climbing to the top.
Climbing to the top. Well, we did not know that in order to get to the other side, you have to climb all those rocks. We weren't ready for it, but we're like, you know what? We're here. Might as well. And I think that was one of the most challenging things we've done.
That was probably, and it wasn't long, but that little short area where we're hiking over the mountains.
I mean, I've
heard other people talk about it, but it was the most single difficult thing I think we did in our entire trip.
Now, sure enough, we could have just turned around and gone to the other side of the park, but I mean, we're there.
Lose the experience. But I would have taken. Did we even have our walking sticks? I would have taken.
No, we didn't have a walking sticks. We didn't have hiking shoes. Okay. We had regular sneakers.
I would have taken my hiking shoes. Would have been better prepared for it.
We would have been better prepared, and we didn't. But we still did it. We
made it, yeah. And everybody, listen. There were some elderly people doing it. There were people doing it with dogs.
You gotta take your time.
This is doable. You just have to take your time, watch your footing, and you could do it. Not a problem.
So when we got to the peak, and I'm looking down at the lake, I'm like, oh, so this is why everybody's up here. It's because you have to.
We did see some rock climbers though at another portion of the trail.
We did
climbing up the backside.
The steep part, yeah. But we did, and then once we got to the other side, we stopped and had our picnic. It was very nice, beautiful weather again.
Yeah.
And then we walked around. Now you can rent canoes, paddle,
life jackets,
standing up boards. They have all that available for you to rent. But there's people. I guess this is like a common thing there. There was people swimming and family outings, and the kids were just swimming in the lake. So I guess it's just like their beach, but you can go and rent those things from them and go kayaking and so forth.
I think that this whole thing is kind of considered part of Custer State Park, even though you're not still there in it, because they had two almost like guardhouses or whatever, one at the beginning of the Needles Highway and then one at the other side. And I saw you could literally from Sylvan Lake parking area, you could see the other little house and people checking in there. So if you come from that side, which would be, I guess, like the Crazy Horse side, the Sylvan Lake will be the first thing, and then the Needles Highway, and then you go on down to Custer State Park. We came from the other way. A lot of traffic. This is a popular spot. There were people parking around the lake, in the parking lots. Yeah. If you're there and you see a spot, I would just grab it, because if you ride around looking for a better one, you're going to might be riding around a long time.
Finding a spot. So we finally found one like on the side of the road where you had to like back into it.
Yeah.
But we went again. It was the beginning of June 2026. And it was there were a lot of people. Custer State Park also takes you to Wind Cave and Jewel Cave, which are national parks. We were going to go, however...
Yeah, we didn't know you needed a reservation. They're so popular that you have to have a reservation ahead of time.
And we never,
had no clue.
Because the Wind Cave and the Jewel Cave were going to be like, if we had extra time. So we really didn't look into it.
Yeah.
And then when we realized we had the time and we looked into it, you needed reservations.
Now,
and they were sold out.
Had we known that, I don't know for sure that we would have still done it and made an appointment, because we weren't on that kind of a trip. We didn't know when we were going to be where. If we had to make a reservation for that cave, it would have had to been early. We would have had to go in there first, and that would have been kind of inconvenient for us. Just know if you're planning out there to go to those caves, you have to have a reservation to get in there.
Okay. Would you go back?
I don't know. When I look at this, I have to look at it from the whole area. I'm not interested in going back to the whole area. But this was one of the we'll talk about Mount Rushmore in another video. This whole thing was probably my favorite part of the trip. yes, I would go back to this area again. If I'm ever close, if I'm ever in that area and wanted to do anything, this is what I would want to do.
I will go back to, and I'll definitely make sure that I had passes to the Jewel Cave and the Wind Cave, and I will figure out how to stop in Needles Highway and climb those rocks.
Or just take good pictures.
Go somewhere in one of those trails where I can actually go through those spikes, find a spot.
This is one of those deals where now that we've been there, we know better what we would want to do going back and what we would just avoid and not bother with going back. And I would make sure I put aside the right amount of time for this part of the trip.
Yeah, like Sylvan Lake, I don't mind if I don't go back again. I would go back, but if we have other things to do, I don't have to go back.
That's part of the experience. There's other things we're going to talk about in a future Crazy Horse video that I would completely avoid and not make it a part of my trip.
All right. If you have any questions, you can write them down below, and remember to like and subscribe.
Yeah, we won't know the answer, but I'm a good guesser.
That's why he needs to go to Jeopardy.
Don't even start with that.
All right. Bye.
Bye.